Hi everyone, I'm Dylan. I'm going to be doing something a little bit different today because I was working on something and uh, I bit off a little more than I can chew. So in the words of a great creator, I'm working on it. But I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. I'm going to be taking a more earnest approach. I'm going to be talking about my top 100 YouTube videos. YouTube's something that means a lot to me. I wouldn't be sitting here right now unless I loved YouTube, and I consider myself truly passionate about it. I have literally been watching YouTube as long as I can remember. And so I compiled a list of my top 100 favorite YouTube videos. There's a few rules. The really strict rule is no more than one video per channel. The other ones I kind of flub. The other primary rule is that it has to be made as a video. It can't be made as like a movie or as like a trailer or anything. It has to be the content as it is. For example, footage of Live Aid, right? Like Live Aid's awesome. It's a cool concert, but it's not really made to be a YouTube video, so I'm not going to include it here. There are some little exceptions, but you can kind of see that they were made as online videos in general, so I give it a pass. This is also my opinion. You might think some of these picks are a little weird. I wanted to go for a lot of variety, but also a lot of these videos mean a lot to me personally, and don't necessarily look at a video and think, that's not like a great video. It might mean a lot to me. It may have helped me in a time where I really needed that video, or it may have really inspired me when I was younger. You know, these are videos that I think mean a lot to me, and I just wanted to talk about them. What else? Oh, I'm not really including videos because they're like legacy on YouTube or whatever. Like, I'm not including Charlie Bit My Finger because it went viral. Like, I don't care about Charlie Bit My Finger, so I'm not going to include it on there. These are videos I think are good. I'm also not including me or any of my friends' videos because A, I don't think they'd be on the list, and B, that'd be a little narcissistic. So yeah, we have a lot to get through. If I remember another rule as it comes up, then I'll add on to it. Oh, one more thing. I'm going to link to the playlist in the description. And I might link to a second playlist, and it's going to be slightly different from the first one, and that's because I want to have an ever-changing top 100 video list. If a video gets removed, it's not because you know, I don't like it anymore, or I think one video is better than the other. It's just because I have changing interests, and it really is only a representation of what's interesting to me in this moment. If you are a creator who made one of these videos on the list, thank you so much for providing me with so much entertainment and inspiration. If you're a creator who gets taken off the list, don't take it personally. Just know that at one point in time, you did mean a lot to me, and I'm sure you still mean a lot to me. But I have a very shifting, changing mind. There's also no set order for this. I didn't want to rank YouTube videos against each other because when we get to like the top 100, it's really diverse, and it's hard to stack Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared versus Jet Lag the Game. So just try to keep things in mind, like nothing's really like the number one or number 100 or whatever. I've actually organized this entire playlist by color of the thumbnails. So if you're looking at it and like the thumbnail looks kind of different, or like it looks out of place, it's probably because the thumbnail got changed. With that all being said, I just want to talk about some YouTube. So we're going to start with the first video. I very explicitly picked this as the first video. It's the only one I picked in any particular order. Jack's Films were all just assholes talking to a camera. Jack's Films is a creator that's inspired me for so many years. I absolutely love him. And it was hard to pick one of his videos, especially considering he's got so many like really big ones like Yai 500 and YGS 100. But I went with this one because I think it's a very good summation of the YouTube experience. And I think people call Mr. Beast Mr. YouTube sometimes. I think Jax Films is Mr. YouTube. He's been on this site for 20 years or so, however long it's been around, basically. So I think it's only appropriate that he gets the representation he needs, you know, as the YouTuber. That's what I see him as, at least. Because he's really been around for every era of YouTube. He's still making stuff. I have a lot of respect for him as a creator, and I think We're All Just Assholes Talking to a Camera, it's a very satirical song that kind of pokes fun at YouTubing, but at the end of the day shows appreciation for what we do. Up next is Alt-Shift-X's All Tomorrows, The Future of Humanity. If you don't know what All Tomorrows are, get into it. I mean, I'm probably going to say this about all the videos on the list. Like, if you haven't seen it yet, but check it out. But it's basically a reading of this, I guess you'd call it like a book, like short story. I don't know. It's a very eerie, very very well done reading of the All Tomorrows story, which basically takes place in the future, where humanity evolves into like a bunch of different things. It's very well done. The editing is really good. I mean, it's so hard to come up with a bunch of different ways to say this thing's really good. It'll probably end up being this. I just wanted to gush about some of my favorite videos, you guys. Next up we have Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared by Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared. Very classic horror series on this site. I showed this to my little cousin once, and he got really scared because he was like, "Show me something scary," and this is what I went with. This is my scary representation. It's now got like a whole series and everything on I want to say like Netflix or something, but it's only available in the UK, so I haven't been able to watch it. But it's very good. I'm really impressed that they were able to start with just this too, because like on its own it's really impressive. Like obviously now it has a much bigger budget, but the first Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared episode alone is just wonderfully done. It's terrifying, it's artistic, it's really well planned out. It's a beautiful work of horror. Mr. Bean Could Kill Superman, Alex Lennon. You know, we're going to have a lot of variety here. We're going to have a lot of weird picks, a lot of ones you probably haven't heard of or seen before. Mr. Bean Could Kill Superman. I mean, the title says it all. It's an argument. It's a 40-minute argument, 43 minutes of arguing why Mr. Bean could beat Superman in a fight, with a full fight scene included. Check it out. The Fruit Jar, Diary of a Wimpy Kid, Freshman Year, a parody film. If you've never seen the Diary of a Wimpy Kid films, they're a wonderful adaptation of the books. This person made a 30-minute parody of the films, which the movies and the books, the original ones, take place in middle school, and this is the premise that Greg Heffley is moving into his freshman year. And so it makes for a wonderful parody. It kind of goes off the walls, but it's really fun. All the actors represent the characters really well, especially for like an amateur short film. Like obviously, I think the actors from the original movies are like, you know, they're like professional actors, but like these guys do a wonderful job too. It's clear a lot of love for the original movies, a lot of love for the original books were put into this. And it's honestly a better fourth movie than The Long Haul, and it's only 30 minutes. It doesn't feel that, and I mean that in the best possible way. It seriously feels like every beat they move on like really makes a difference in the film. it's a great short film. I'm really proud of the people who made it. Props to you, Fruit Jar, for making just a wonderful movie. The Ice Cream Van, Selena O'Meara. I know I didn't want to do Charlie Bit My Fingers. This is probably the closest one we get to that, where it's not really intended to be made as a YouTube video. I think it was just like a mom filming her kids. It's funny. It's a 27-second video. You can spare 27 seconds. If you're gonna watch the rest of this, you can spare the 27 seconds to go check this one out. Perfect comedic timing. Perfect. H Bomber Guy, Roblox_oof.mp3. You're watching the mystery of where the Roblox oof came from in like the first 20 minutes, and like the last hour and a half, your main goal is to kill Tommy Tallarico. H Bomber Guy's ability to create a video starting in one place and then ending up completely in another place, but making it extremely fascinating, is just astounding. I am jealous of the fact that he was able to captivate me for 2 full hours and I didn't get bored. There was no point where I stopped being like just glued to my screen, being like, what's gonna happen next? Because holy crap, 2 hours of the Roblox oof mystery and you had my full attention. Props to you, H Bomber Guy. H Bomber Guy's been around for a while, I'm pretty sure too. There are a lot of different videos I could have gone with H Bomber Guy, but I wanted to go with the Roblox oof one because I think this one was probably my favorite. A beautiful mystery turned into a takedown of one of the worst people in the gaming industry. Oh, I am disappointed in you all because none of you know who Bobby Fingers is. I assure you that, because I try to talk to anyone about Bobby Fingers. No one knows who this guy is. Easily the best new creator I've seen on this platform. Easily. I chose Bobby Fingers, Michael Jackson on Fire diorama. Trying to pitch Bobby Fingers as a diorama artist, creator, it's unfair to him because it really doesn't serve his storytelling abilities justice. Basically, he makes a diorama of the Pepsi commercial Michael Jackson filmed, I think in the 80s, where his hair caught on fire. Now, that sounds all right. You know, you might be thinking, oh, diorama video, I guess that's okay. No, that's not the interesting part. I'm gonna say this a lot. I'm gonna say this a ton. I'm gonna say this a million times. Check this guy out, but this guy, of any of them, I really think you should check out. Bobby Fingers, that's the name to look out for these next few years. A masterclass in storytelling. Just callbacks, subversions, everything. You're gonna be so confused in the first minute as to why a diorama guy is able to tell a story this well, but by the end of the 25 minutes, you will not be disappointed, I assure you. Please check this guy out. Please, 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 I'm begging you. 16 Tons Low Bass Singer cover by Jeff Castellucci. One little rule I forgot about in the beginning, I didn't really want to include music videos because it's like kind of cheating. Like, would I include like OK Go? I don't know. Oh, I should have done an OK Go video. Oh, those are so cool. Okay. But I didn't want to really include music videos because the music themselves would kind of outweigh the actual like video quality. But Jeff Castellucci is so cool, you guys. I think you underestimate how much the video does in terms of presenting Jeff Castellucci as a cool guy. Because when you're watching the music video, you're like, oh, this guy can sing low. And the video uses some techniques, some really subtle techniques to present his ability to sing even lower as like a shock or like a subversion. And I think the video does that really well. And it's a really simple video on the surface, but you notice like a lot of little techniques that it uses, like particularly like with the cuts and everything. Or maybe I just like hearing people sing really low. I think that's probably that. Expiration date, Team Fortress. You know expiration date, come on. It's awesome. I could have picked any of the Meet the Team videos. I think Expiration Date was the best one to go with because it's a start to finish story. And I mean, it's wonderfully done. It's really funny. I've never seen promotional material for a game done this well. Like, you don't need to know Team Fortress at all. Like, this works as a short film on its own. It introduces the characters really well. They're all really charming. They're all endearing. They're all well done. I don't know, man. Like, you know what it is. I'm going to assume you're on this side of the internet where everyone seems to know everything about YouTube, so I won't hold you too long in this. You know why it's good. Mike Karf's Bridge Kids, Chair Jordans. Oh, I love Bridge Kids. Oh, it's so funny. I love Bridge Kids. This is my favorite episode. I think if you like Smiling Friends, this is one to check out. A lot of the similar, like, natural-ish sort of dialogue, if you kind of like that. Kind of like the absurdism within, like, that natural dialogue. You know. I think this is my favorite episode. I don't know if I'd start on Chair Jordans, but definitely a series to check out if you're sort of into like Adult Swim-y type stuff. Because I could definitely see Bridge Kids on Adult Swim. It's like a whole series. So check it out. William Osmond's Teaching Spammers a Lesson. Again, William Osmond, one of those creators who he has so many different great videos to pick from. I chose Teaching Spammers a Lesson because it's a personal favorite of mine. The banter he has with the spammer is wonderful, and he creates a whole fake video and a fake set, and he explodes it to send to the spammers. Absolutely hilarious. Just, again, one of those videos which manages to incorporate really good storytelling with really good humor. Check it out if you're into messing with spammers. We got a video by Vice. I don't like the fact that it's by Vice, because that's like a content farm type thing, but it's a good video. Sending an attractive lookalike to my high school reunion. It's sweet. That's all I'll say. It's a very sweet, positive video. It's a good premise. It's a good premise and thumbnail, setting an attractive lookalike to my high school reunion. And you kind of get like a lot of those types of videos on here. But I think this one really exceeds above the others because it has a really sweet ending and it has a really sweet story. Yeah, if you're looking for something uplifting, I'd check this one out. You have definitely seen this next one in your recommended. It doesn't matter if you've clicked on it, if you've seen any other videos by the channel. You've seen this one in the recommended, I assure you. The Incredible Japanese Prison Break by Kento Bento. You've seen this in your recommended. For years, I had this in my recommended. I was like, I'll finally check it out, and it's a great video. It's a wonderful story, some wonderful drawings. All around really solid. This guy also has quite a few good videos, Kento Bento. But again, we're going with like the one video per channel rule, so I thought this would be the best one to represent his channel because I think it is the best story that he's covered. Explosive Entertainment's Out of Order, Cyanide and Happiness shorts. There's a lot of great Cyanide and Happiness stuff. I really like Out of Order. Simple premise, simple execution, absolutely hilarious. You can't get much better than this. I mean, Again, it's one of those where it's like a personal favorite of mine. It's not the biggest, it's not the most bombastic video of all of them. We're gonna start getting to a point where we're gonna find like the biggest and most bombastic videos of creators, but there's also a few which I very purposely went with like maybe like a smaller, like lesser known video of theirs. Out of Order is pretty popular. It's got 25 million views, but still though, very funny. Local 58 TV, Contingency. Oh, good horror. I don't know if I would consider myself an analog horror fan. I've seen a lot of bad analog horror, and it's kind of put me off from it, but this is good. This is good stuff. Very scary. I'm not someone who's like normally scared of horror, but I got a little sink in the heart watching this one. If you've ever seen the it's like embrace freedom position. Like maybe you've seen that like screenshotted or whatever. So you have to do that. Yeah, that's where this comes from. Carrie KH. Oh, Carrie Huang. Carrie teaches you how to time travel. Sadly, BFDI is not on here. I couldn't do it. Sorry, 12-year-old me. But Carrie teaches you how to time travel. Very meta YouTube video about using the little arrow functions to fast forward and back. It's really well done. I mean, I don't think I could really map out all the time travel components. Like it's very fun, like the way you can like kind of rewind the video and like you kind of get like a whole different context and everything. Nice job, Carrie. Super Brankman, The Heist. This is a animated short film. It's some really cool characters. These are just wonderful characters. It's really well animated. It's really well written. But more importantly, they just made a lot of really good characters here. And the only problem with it is I want to see more. I want to see them interact with each other. I want to see their banter, and I want to see them plan out other different ideas. Again, it's wonderfully animated too. There's a lot of animation on here coming up. I don't think we've seen a ton so far, but we're definitely going to get to a point where it's going to be animation. Yeah. This might be the least viewed video on the list. It's by Bryn Daniel, which is actually strange because he has quite a few videos which are pretty popular. Speedrunning Minecraft before I die in real life. Bryn Daniel's one of those creators where he has so many videos, and I wanted to pick more of like an underrated one to represent his channel because this only has 23,000 views, which is absurd to me because every time I watch this video, I'm giggling on the floor laughing. It's exactly what it promises. He speedruns Minecraft before he dies in real life. Bryn Daniel's one of those really naturally funny people. You might know him from other things. He did the ranking every Minecraft block. He did the reviewing every Scooby-Doo monster. He did the Worst One series where he covered like The Simpsons, Goosebumps too. He did the Tales from 4chan. He's sadly kind of known as the guy who reads 4chan, which sucks. I mean, they're good readings, they're good videos, but as a creator, I think he's got so much more potential. He was also in the there was like this Terraria anime. It might have been just called Terraria the Animated Series, and he played the skeleton guy, and that caught me off guard on that one time. I sunk so low to watch that, and he was the only kind of good part of that series, so props to him. Doug. I let Twitch chat decorate my new room. Again, Doug's got a lot of videos, very similar quality in terms of just being very consistently funny. This one's just a personal favorite. He lets Twitch chat decorate the room that his new roommate's gonna move into, and they got a bunch of Fat Albert posters and a ball pit. I didn't mean to spoil it, but it's pretty funny. Just thinking about it makes me laugh. You know, these are the videos that just bring joy to my face every time I watch them. Like, these really are my comfort videos. So I have nothing but gratitude towards the creators who made these, because they've brought so much joy to my face. Like, they're seriously, I don't know how long this playlist is. It's probably in the ballpark of 30-something hours, because we have quite a few long videos coming up. But most of these videos I've seen many times. I've probably seen this one 4 times. Like, and that's a pretty average amount. Like, that's not, I'd even say that's less than the average video on this list. Okay. Polygon. Is that one channel? Yeah. We're counting Polygon as a channel. What do we represent from Polygon? It has to be Brian David Gilbert's The Perfect Pokey Rap, unraveled live at PAX East 2019. Again, the storytelling. I mean, I don't know how people can't see YouTube as a legitimate storytelling medium when people can do things like this. I know this is technically a what would you call it? A panel, but it's more than that. It was meant to be a YouTube video. Like, they filmed it explicitly so it could go on the Polygon channel. The Perfect Pokey Rap, I think, is the best episode of Unraveled. I've been actually rewatching quite a few of them recently, and there's a lot of really good ones. I really like the Sims one. I really like the Mega Man one. But this one, start to finish, just, I feel like it's so beautifully planned out for being like a panel and like a live show. Like, it feels like everything he says does get brought back. And that's sometimes hard to, you know, remember the script and everything for like a live show. Like, you have some like leeway with like YouTube to like find which bits will work and everything, but no, he has to do this all live, and he performs an 8-minute Pokey Rap where he names every single Pokemon. Absolutely insane. The Unraveled series is easily one of my favorites on YouTube, period. And I'm glad I picked this one. I can reference it even with my little brother. Like, I remember showing him this, and like we'd catch each other like around the house, like trying to remember like the first lines or two of it. But like, there's so many Pokemon. Like, it's like, I think at the time he did it, there was like still like 800 or something. So this is also the video that got me to go to PAX for the first time in 2020. This would have been February or maybe early March. But that was like the first time I really saw COVID in action. So thanks for that, Brian David Gilbert. Neil Cicerega, I don't know, Lemon Demon. Brody Quest. This one's definitely playing to the 12-year-old Dylan. Yeah, I think I just like it because I liked it when I was 12. I don't think there's any really strong reason anymore. I think it's a fun video, but like, this was like crack to me when I was 12. I thought this was the funniest thing, and it brings a little smile to my face knowing like there was a point in time where like I really admired like Lemon Demon, and I still respect Lemon Demon a lot, but I don't know, it just makes me happy thinking about it. These are my happy videos, let's say. Oh boy, we got a lot to go. We've made some good progress though. So let's carry on. Kitchen Gun Epic Remix. I didn't want to include too many like edits or anything because, you know, I thought that would be like too much because I'm a sucker for good editing. But I also didn't want to do too many, whatever, of like one thing. Oh, I meant to create a Google sheet with all the statistics of like all the different genres and everything. I'll do that afterwards if I have time. Maybe I'll do like an addendum where I'm like, here are the statistics of my top 100 videos, whatever. Yeah, Kitchen Gun Epic Remix. It's very catchy. I remember someone made like a full version of the song. Then they got copyrighted. But I remember like me and my friends back in 2020 absolutely loved this this little remix or whatever. So, good stuff. Speedoru's Punch Punch Forever pilot. Very well done. Wonderful little piece of animation here. Speedoru's got plenty of great animations, but I won Punch Punch Forever because it really does capture the vibe. I don't watch a ton of anime, so I don't really know what I'm talking about. But to a stupid Westerner who doesn't really watch anime, this does give the illusion of a very legitimate anime, I guess, parody, I guess. But it's paying tribute to it in a very, very proper way. I've seen anime parodied poorly. Like that stupid like Family Guy bit where like they're like, Peter's anime phase. It's like, that wasn't well done, but I think this really does do the parody justice because it's a legitimately good piece of animation on its own. So props to you, Speedoru. It's also really funny. The second episode is also really funny. I think there's 2 or 3 episodes. I couldn't tell you. But yeah, really, really solid piece of animation. Speedoru is a really talented animator. The colors are really good. I'm a sucker for good colors. I think that's it. Tor's Cabinet of Curiosities. I discovered this channel 2 days ago. This is the latest addition to the list. Wikipedia's Biggest Mystery, featuring Depths of Wikipedia. The big mystery is who is the most famous person measurable using Wikipedia. Number 1 is Jesus Christ. Number 2 is Barack Obama. Number 3 will surprise you. Absolutely wonderful mystery. Tor's Cabinet of Curiosities has, I'm going to assume a ton. I've only managed to watch 3 or 4 of their other videos in the time since I've discovered their channel, but it's now my new favorite channel. For now, I absolutely, like, they picked the perfect topics that, like, really, like, scratch that itch in my brain. The other one was, like, the 1960 presidential election in Alabama. That was the other one I watched. And that was absolutely fascinating. You wouldn't think it would be, but if you're enough of a dork like me, then it is. The other one I watched was Finding the Biggest Number Possible. That one was also really, really interesting. Yeah, no, they sort of reach between like philosophy and internet sort of like mysteries and debates. I picked this one. I should probably have a better, more in-depth look at Tor's channel, because I obviously haven't seen any of these. And here's another thing I didn't say. I obviously haven't seen every video ever. If you think a video deserves to be on this list, comment it down below. Let me know which videos, or hell, even entire channels. But I'd appreciate a good place to start, you know, because I'm sure if I saw every video ever, these would only be maybe half the list. I bet there's so many wonderful hidden gems out there. So can't wait to see what you guys say. John Boy's The Dumbest Boy Alive, Pretty Good, Episode 6. Pretty Good is a pretty good series, if you ask me. It has a very distinct style with like the 3D animation, and like the visuals everywhere. I chose The Dumbest Boy Alive because this one just makes me absolutely cackle. And I'll talk a little bit more about John Boy's later on the list. Rush E Sheet Music Boss. Classic. Reform, Part 1, pretty good. Okay, we're back to John Boy's. Technically, this video is made by Secret Base, so I can include 2 John Boy's videos for the price of 2. So the first John Boy's video, The Dumbest Boy Alive, was uploaded to the John Boy's channel. The second one was uploaded to Secret Base. So they're technically 2 separate channels, which means by the rules of my own list, I can include both of them. Is it kind of cheating? Yes, very, very stupidly cheating. But John Boyce makes such good videos, man. They're so good. And I think they're different enough. Stylistically, they're pretty similar, and they are technically in the same series. But they're very different stories. The first one, The Dumbest Boy Alive, is about a weightlifting forum poster who doesn't know how many days there are in a week. And then the Reform mini-series within Pretty Good is about Ross Perot and the Reform Party. Two very different things. Obviously, one takes a more comedic approach, and one takes a more analytical approach to politics and elections and everything. Both absolutely fascinating and pretty funny. I'll talk a little bit more about Reform, because I think I could talk a little bit more about that one. It's 3 parts, yeah, 3 episodes there. And I think it's like 2 or 3 hours total. The first episode's pretty much all about Ross Perot. The second one, pretty much all about Jesse Ventura. And then the third one, episode 3, it's about the Reform Party primaries for the 2000 election. Now hold on, you guys, hold on. It's really dang interesting. You're probably not going to like it unless you're as much of a nerd about weird U.S. elections as I am. But it's so well done. He can make stories that I wouldn't be interested in normally interesting. Like Pretty Good is mostly about sports stories, actually, and I'm not into sports at all. But I still watch them because they're really well done documentaries about really good stories, pretty good stories. The reason I went with Reform here is because it's a story I was already kind of interested in from the start. And so I could kind of like already be invested in it from like the very beginning. Part 3, this is my shameful secret. I'm a little embarrassed of this. Part 3 made me cry a little. If you watched it, you'll understand. Don't judge until you watch part 3. It did make me tear up. I'm not like a Reform Party whatever. Like it's just there's this guy and he gives a pretty sad speech. You're gonna have to watch it. No surprise here. Jet Lag the Game. We played Connect 4 by traveling to actual U.S. states. I don't know if you guys noticed from my laptop stickers, I'm actually a bit of a fan of Jet Lag the Game, and also by the fact that I made a 40-something minute video talking about it. I chose Season 1, Episode 1, the Connect 4, the first episode of Connect 4. I know in my jet lag video, which was made over a year ago now, I know in that I said that was the worst episode of the show. Overall, worst. It's still a great episode. But it hooked me. It got me interested in the show, so I'll say it's good for the list. I think really any of the other ones would be kind of too out of place, or it's like you kind of need the context of the previous seasons in order to understand it. Like, I could link to my favorite jet lag episode. I couldn't tell you which one that is, but I could do that, but I wanted this list to be a good place for a lot of people to start watching these channels, because I wanted to promote a lot of my favorite YouTube channels and get people invested in some of my favorite creators. So if you haven't seen Jet Lag, watch the show or my video on jet lag, because I pitch it pretty well there. But I also spoil it, so I don't know. You do you. There's 100 videos in this list. If you don't watch at least one of them, I'm going to be very disappointed. Corn by Slimesicle. Again, this is itching like 12-year-old me's brain. Just makes me happy to think about. I don't know, corn. It's a funny video. Like you can call it cheesy, you can call it corny, all you want, but I think it's funny. It makes me laugh. Little Runmo by Gooseworks. People now know Gooseworks for the Amazing Digital Circus, but I know them mostly for Little Runmo, actually. Um, it's a 16-minute piece of animation that is both silly, goofy, and terrifying. There are some really eerie, terrifying drawings in here. The whole Meatball Man sequence. It's hilarious, but absolutely anxiety-inducing. And it's really good at capturing this sort of 2D platformer vibe in a way that I don't think I've seen a lot of other pieces of media be able to do. Yeah, like a lot of them get like the Super Mario Bros. Like doo, 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 like they get that, but they don't really get like this modern like HD 2D platformer sort of vibe that I think Little Runmo really captures. Yeah, if you're into, you know, the Amazing Digital Circus, and you haven't seen Little Runmo, I'd check this one out. It's a really good piece of animation. It's really cool to see where Gooseworks started before this obviously much more popular thing. Digital Circus is obviously off the list because we already have a Gooseworks representation, but I'd still include that again. Like it's got that synonymous with like little kids and being corny, but it's still really good. It's really funny. It's really well animated. It's really well done. And so I don't care if a bunch of little Friday Night Funkin' kids also like it. I'm allowed to like it too. I'm looking at this video on the list. I don't even want to say it. I don't want to even say that it's on the list. And so you know what? We're going to say, you know, fine, I'll admit it. I'll admit it. I put Gay Frog's Alex Jones remix on the list. It made 10-year-old me happy. And it makes me chuckle to think that Gay Frog's Alex Jones remix was the funniest thing to me when I was 10 years old. I'll admit it. I said I'd have some wild picks. These are my really wild picks. Do I really think Place Boying, Gay Frog's Alex Jones remix is one of the 100 best videos that the site has to offer? Probably not. Is it one of my 100 favorite videos? Probably, yeah. I didn't even know who Alex Jones was as a kid. I just thought it was funny that he was screaming about gay frogs. And now it's sad. RT Game. RT is a creator I've been watching for a long time. And there were a lot of great silly videos, like him like trapping like the Minecraft players in the pits or any of his City Skylines videos, like the West Virginia Coop Volcano. I know that sounds weird out of context. If you've seen RT Game, that's like his whole shtick. But I actually went with a far more earnest video of his, which is let's actually play Minecraft again 10 years later. It's an hour and 43-minute video of him playing Minecraft. Just plain old Minecraft survival mode. No gimmicks, no other player. It's just him, and he's taking in the game. And it's kind of crazy for me to see Minecraft as just a game these days, because especially like being so exposed to YouTube, like it's a mechanism for creators and for storytelling now, that I think this video sort of flipped on its head and it said, well, it is just a game. We can just enjoy it as an experience, you know? Like it doesn't necessarily have to be this big thing for YouTube. Like it can just be a game that we enjoy. And it's really calm. It's really, like, I think I was like really sick or something. Like I was really like down on my luck when I first watched this. I was definitely going through something. I can't remember what it was, but it really lifted me up. And whatever it was, whatever I was feeling, it brought me to a much more positive place. Because it's a really positive video about all the great things Minecraft has to offer. Psychic Pebbles, Hellbender's Appaloosa. Psychic Pebbles, one of those creators who I absolutely adore. I will watch basically anything his name is on. And chances are you may have too, because he created Smiling Friends along with Michael Cusack. I went with Hellbender's Appaloosa because I think it's the kind of best representation of his work on his channel. And when I first discovered this, I think I was in England, and I was, you know, like in a hotel, sharing a room with my brother, and he was like already asleep. And it was probably like midnight or like 1 a.m., 2 a.m. or something. And I remember discovering this, and I just kept having to pause over and over again because I was laughing so hard and I didn't want to wake him up. But yeah, this one of those videos that just cracks me up, man. We actually have a 2 for 2 video here. We have a double combo. Eddie Burbach's I ate at every rainforest cafe in the country, and Ted Nivison's I drove to every Margaritaville in the USA. Little context here. Back in 2023, Eddie Burbach and Ted Nivison did a series of videos. I wouldn't really call it a series. They did one video each on their experience going to every rainforest cafe in the country. And they both tell it in similar but different ways. They share different parts of the experiences that meant more to them, or you know, played into their characters like in different ways, like sharing like their side of the story and everything. And like a year later, they did the same thing with Margaritaville. I like Eddie Burbach's Rainforest Cafe perspective, and I like Ted Nivison's Margaritaville perspective. So that's why I chose each one to represent each. I remember I was down in New Jersey with my mom, and I remembered that New Jersey has a Rainforest Cafe. And so I was like, we were just like waiting at like a train station because we needed to go somewhere, because we were at like the Newark airport and we needed to take the train down to somewhere. And I remember being like, Mom, let's watch the Rainforest Cafe video while we wait. We did, and they got to the point where they talked about the New Jersey Rainforest Cafe, and they talked about how it was the worst one in the entire country and on their road trip. And so we did not go to the Rainforest Cafe after that point. But my mom did buy me a Rainforest Cafe Las Vegas t-shirt when she went to Las Vegas, and a Rainforest Cafe shot glass, despite the fact that I've never been to the Rainforest Cafe nor Las Vegas. But I actually did go to Las Vegas back in February, and I begged my mom to take me to the Rainforest Cafe, and then she said, okay, but we're only going to the gift shop for 5 minutes. We did not eat there, and I was this close to achieving my dream of eating at a Rainforest Cafe. That's all I asked for, Mom. We're right there. Anyways, yeah, Eddie and Ted both make wonderful videos, but I think these are the best ones in their channels, respectively. Here's one video I almost instantly put on the list. Like this was like the first one that I kind of thought of when I was like top 100 videos. Shrek Retold by 3GI. Basically, a bunch of animators, just like a multi-animator project, and even like I think just for filmmakers too. They recreated all of Shrek scene by scene. You get so many cool and talented people, and you also have Chris Chan. Fun fact. They did a 3 or 4 minute scene for Shrek Retold. And I remember the first time I watched it, I didn't know who Chris Chan was. And so I was very confused as to why they had some like these like colored pencil drawings and like a very like strange narration doing the Shrek Retold. And then I rewatched it again with the knowledge of who Chris Chan was. And it blew my mind, like seeing Chris Chan pop up. I was like, holy crap, this is the person who did the bit from Shrek Retold. And it's a wonderful tribute to Shrek. It's a wonderful tribute to filmmaking animation. and the internet and the spirit of collaboration. So, very well done. This might be the second least viewed video on the list. Reacting to Future Videos by Joey Pocket. I think Joey Pocket has to be the smallest creator on this list, the smallest, like, really consistent creator. Joey Pocket is so underrated. They're so funny, and they quit YouTube 5 or 6 years ago. 2020, yeah. And they quit YouTube with this video, reacting to future videos, where at the end he sees his future self and he's like, oh, I'm still a YouTuber? That's stupid. I'm going to change the future so that doesn't happen. And then he says, I'm not going to make any more YouTube videos. And he looks directly at the camera and says, this isn't a joke. I am quitting YouTube. And then he did not make another video. It is the absolute funniest way to go out I've ever seen. Joey Pocket's such a great creator. And it's such a shame that he never got the recognition he deserved, because he only got up to 40,000 subscribers. I think he could have easily gotten to 1 million if he got just a little more recognition for his talent. But none of his videos ever really exceeded more than 1 million views, I want to say. Which is such a shame, because again, he makes such good videos. Anyways, I didn't want to include too many, again, like edits or like parodies of like one thing, so I only really wanted to include one Steamed Hams representation. And it's Steamed Hams, but it was banned in the USSR by Tyrone Dacey. I don't know. Sorry for mispronouncing that. I love Steamed Hams as like a vessel for different creators to interpret or reimagine the same scene. And this Steamed Hams parody is a parody of the, I believe it's 1980s Russian animated film, The Glass Harmonica. I've seen it. It's very eerie. It's very creepy, and they do a very brilliant job of recreating the style that the Glass Harmonica sort of has, because it's very unique. And even if you don't know what it is, even if you've never seen Russian animation, it has a very particular vibe to it that you can almost like sort of pick out, and like you can be like, I feel like I've seen this before from somewhere. Weirdly enough, you get a lot of like the background paintings from like Yellow Submarine kind of remind me of this style. I don't know what it is. Like the Yellow Submarine animated movie from like the 60s, or whenever it came out, probably 71, I don't know. Jones Good Ass Barbecue and Foot Massage. It's Jones Barbecue and Foot Massage. I'm sorry if I don't have more to say about some of these videos. It's just a lot of them. I watch them. They make me laugh in a way a lot of these other videos can't. All the videos here can make me laugh. All the funny ones at least. But it's something about Jones Good Ass Barbecue and Foot Massage that it's very particular in the way that it makes me laugh. It's just very unique, in the way makes me feel. So I appreciate it for making me laugh in a different way from most other videos. So yeah, that didn't make sense. Ben Walker, what if forks are made of salt? Ben Walker, I hate this man because he has made 2 videos on his YouTube channel. What if forks are made of salt? And what if many forks are made of salt? And both videos are really good. And he has made nothing else. And that ticks me off, because he could make so many good videos. But he's only made the 2. And it's so good though. You've probably even seen What If Forks Are Made of Salt. It's got 11 million views. It's very popular. But it's disheartening that this man is only made 2 videos, and they're both bangers. Oy, oy. Befocal, sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. One last pick and I'll be gone, Family Guy live action. This is, you've probably seen this on Instagram or TikTok or something. I'm not on those sites, so this is how I've seen it. There's a Family Guy scene where Peter Griffin and Tom Tucker skateboard throughout Quahog, and someone recreated that in live action, and it's really well done. I absolutely commend their skill in skateboarding, but also their ability to recreate a Family Guy scene shot for shot. It's really well done. I think this is actually the first like serious video we've had on the list, so I need to address the fact that there will be some weird juxtaposition entirely by the fact that I'm organizing these by color and not necessarily by theme. So we're going from the Family Guy live action recreation to 9/11 attacks in real-time dashboard, 7:46 a.m. to 12 p.m. This video is an absolute testament to editing in general. I mean, the ability they have to compile all the clips, sync them up, and then show you like the absolute best parts of each of them. It's really interesting. You don't need to watch all 4 hours and 13 minutes because they have like the little like timestamps in the description, but they actually did go out of their way to find the best clips and everything of all 4 hours and 13 minutes of the 9/11 attacks. It shows the different like news clips. It shows like even like the radio footage of like the hijackers and everything. Again, I'm really sorry for how different this is from the rest of the list, but it's a really well edited project, and I can say with confidence, like, none of the footage that they use obviously was intended to be made as a YouTube video. But they compile it in such a way that they're able to tell a more original story through all of their editing. So I would definitely consider this a YouTube video, and thus eligible for the list. I hate how I have to follow up the 9/11 attacks dashboard with Jazz for Cows, but here we are. Jazz for Cows. Something about the title, thumbnail, 2 minutes and 4 seconds, all of them working in tandem together to create just a wonderful experience. And then we're back to 9/11 with what Walt Disney World was like on 9/11. That was not intentional that I sandwiched Jazz for Cows between 2 videos about the September 11th attacks. But here we are, talking again about one of the greatest tragedies in American history. What Walt Disney World was like on 9/11. A really well done documentation of a person sharing their experience of being a kid at Disney World in 9/11. It's just a fascinating story. I'm fascinated by these types of stories because it's not the type of thing that you would immediately cross your mind. Like, but yeah, what would someone at Disney World do in this situation? And it's really fascinating to see, you know, how like the Disney World employees handle it, and how he as like a kid saw it. I forgot to credit them. This is Jerry B. I forgot to credit Jazz for Cows as well. That's New Hot 5, and the 9/11 attacks in real-time dashboard, Christian Kohler. Max Fosh, I broke into the International Security Convention, and his name is Rob Banks. That is his fake name for the International Security Convention. Again, Max Fosh has plenty of, I would say, very like equally just like really consistently good videos, but I went with this one because it's a personal favorite of mine. Mr. Green's Big Break by German 985. I'm gonna assume you guys know who Germa is. If you don't, refer back to 2020. He's the guy with the sus face, like that guy. But if you really don't know, he's a streamer. He's a really funny guy. Aiden absolutely loves him. I do too. I think this is the best bit that he's ever done. It's 37 minutes of him playing this casino game, but he plays this character called Mr. Green. The character's absolutely hilarious. He takes it in just the best possible direction. And there's even a follow-up video where he's playing this chocolate factory game that has a gambling element and then becomes Mr. Green slowly over time. If you're into sort of like stream kind of compilation of like really funny character bits and you don't know who Germa is, I think this is a really good introduction to him. Yeah, Mr. Green's big break. If you really want to get into Germa 985 or you have a friend who wants to get into him, I think this is the best thing you could possibly send them. Wendigoon. A lot of great videos by Wendigoon. He covers a whole slew of topics from conspiracy theories to horror to like analog horror, whatever. I went with the conspiracy theory iceberg, the 9.5 hour video, which I've seen 3 times. This is awesome. This is my absolute jam. The variety of topics he goes through, absolutely insane. I mean, you'll watch the video, the iceberg chart that he has. It's massive and it's completely packed with so many different conspiracy theories. Props to him for researching and sharing about all of them. Wendigoon himself is such an endearing guy. Like he always talks about these like really dark and like eerie topics, but he's just like this really nice man from Tennessee who's just really into horror and he just wants to talk about these things. Yeah, one of those creators I absolutely adore. Check it out if you want some. It's really good to like listen to in the background. He's got such a nice voice. So if you really want something to like kind of put on, the 9.5 hour conspiracy theory iceberg, definitely one of my favorite picks. I was listening to it one time and it made me think of my philosophy teacher actually, so I sent it to him. And he came up to me the next day and he said, "You sent me a 9-hour video?" I was like, yeah, I thought you'd like it. Because the email I sent said something like, "I found this little video that I think you'd like." And he told me he got like 5 minutes into it thinking it was a 9.5-minute video. Before he clicked on the timestamp, and it turns out it's 9.5 hours, and he called me crazy. Very interesting. If you are into philosophy, I don't even think this would be a half-bad video for you. Sean Cohn's The Sandlerverse. I know a lot of people have tried to make like videos being like, oh, is The Simpsons connected to, or like is Marvel connected to all these other things? I like the Sandlerverse because it focuses very specifically on the Adam Sandler universe and the fact that all the movies are connected. It's very funny. He plays a very funny character, and it's also a little interesting to see all the different connections that the Adam Sandler movies have to each other. Chip Tuner, Walter White and Mario Kart Wii. Again, one of those edits I think is very well done. I am just astounded that they found this much footage of the Breaking Bad characters looking like they could feasibly be racing go-karts. I know there is a scene where Jesse races go-karts, but I like how they actually find enough footage of Walter White driving like pretty like manically and frantically that it looks like he's being chased by a blue shell. So props to you, Chip Tuner. I think they've made quite a few other good edits too. But I think this one's a personal favorite of mine. LS Mark is, I know he's got like a bit of controversy. I don't know why. I think he's a really good creator, really good reviewer too. I've watched him for pretty much his entire career. Like I've seen him since he only had maybe like 1,000 subscribers, I want to say. which is why it was sort of hard, but then immediately not that hard to pick a favorite video to represent him. And I say it wasn't that hard because ranking every Simpsons episode ever was such an obvious pick for me. I have seen every Simpsons episode 2, possibly 3 times over. And I've thought a lot about like how I'd like kind of rank them against each other. And he did it. He actually did that, and it's a 6-hour video. And it's really not lying to you. He goes through every single one, he reviews them, he gives them a fair shot. He does give an accurate review of what he likes and dislikes about each video, each episode rather. And this 6-hour video, I've probably seen 7 or 8 times. It's a good thing to put on in the background. And The Simpsons is my favorite show. So I could listen endlessly to someone else talking about it too. Yeah, it's really just a 6-hour video where it's fully edited, it's fully everything. I mean, god damn, a 6-hour video talking about every episode of The Simpsons. Just commendable. Jello Apocalypse. This guy is actually controversial and kind of for good reason. I'm not going to get into it. I think going down the list, there are going to be a few more controversial-ish creators. I ultimately decided that if they made a good enough video, I'm going to separate the art from the artist. I didn't include anyone like super bad or anything, but yeah, Jello's a little weird, but they made Epithet Erased, episode 1, Quiet in the Museum. Wonderful little animated series. I actually rewatched it all recently. It's really cute. It's really fun. I absolutely adore all the characters. They build a really wonderful world. In it, the Epithet Erased world, 1 in 5 people kind of have like My Hero Academia powers. I've never seen My Hero Academia, but I have a friend who absolutely hates it, and he says it's My Hero Academia, but good. So if you hate it, but you like the premise, then maybe check this one out, and maybe you'll enjoy it. My friends, I have vastly underestimated how much 100 is. We've gotten 52 in so far, and we've been rolling for over an hour, which means, my friends, I must sadly bid you adieu. I will be back next time with the other 48 videos that I have deemed to be part of this top 100. And possibly with little statistics and a little like Google sheet of all like the different genres and creators and everything on here. So thank you so much for watching. Go check out all the creators I've mentioned. Bye-bye. And we're back with part 2, or possibly the second half of part 1, and the only part in this very long little project where I just talk about YouTube. We got 52 videos in so far, which means we have 48 left to go. So comment down below your 48 predictions of what I have left. We're starting out with I was hoping we'd start out with a very sophisticated, real worthy pick, and I do think this is a worthy pick in my opinion, but I wouldn't really call it sophisticated. This is Gex by Video Game Donkey. It is a sequel to his older Gex Enter the Gecko video, and again, it reminds me of a simpler time when I'd bring my friends over to my house and I'd be like, hey guys, check out this cool Donkey video. I know people nark on Donkey, and no, I'm not having it. I think he's funny. I do. So you know what? We're including him on the list. Here's a good video. A-Dumbs, I made a graph of Wikipedia. This is what I found. Little graph theory. This is one of the only YouTube videos I had convinced my dad to watch. I sat him down one day and we were just watching YouTube all night, and this is one of my first picks that I went with for him, and he actually ended up enjoying it. It's very interesting. He makes a very good graph, and Wikipedia, I think second to YouTube, is probably the site I spend the most time on the internet, because I could just go clicking article to article all day, and that's essentially what they do. They make a graph of all like the connections between the articles. So if you're into graphs, if you're into Wikipedia, if you're into those cool little connections, good video for you. James Lee animation, chilling with your AI homie. James Lee makes very visceral animations. He has a very distinct style, and I'd love to learn how to sort of like recreate it in a way, like the way his like Persona's character like moves, like you know what I'm talking about if you've seen any of his videos. It's great animation, it's great editing, and a great message and a great story, honestly. If you want to check out James Lee, if you're into like a very like visceral animation, I think this is definitely the best place to start. He has a whole channel filled with wonderful animations. He's done a ton of other stuff too, like working with other creators, I'm pretty sure. He made a recent video which I might actually sub out for Chilling with Your AI Homie in like my updated playlist. It's about creativity and how he manages it. It includes a bunch of the visceral animation that I really like, but it's also a really helpful tool for creatives. So that might actually end up being swapped out because he just keeps making better and better content. So love you, James Lee. Price Master. This is my most cheaty video on the list because it wasn't a YouTube video. This was made in 2001, before YouTube was a thing. However, I think it's gotten enough new life on YouTube, and it was made for public access, which we love public access television. And it's got a lot of the characteristics of a YouTube video you'd find even in the year 2025. It's a weird character someone does at a garage sale. It's very bizarre, but it's very funny. It speaks a lot to the glory of public access television, of just making something cool with your friends, of just coming up with a cool little character and a bit and just running with it. I just adore it. Like it's not only funny and it still holds up, but I also just appreciate it so much because it really shows like the best parts of making things, like making videos for the internet, for public access television, which is what we're doing right now. Bishop Vids, hastily made Cleveland tourism video, second attempt. I went with the second attempt because I think it was slightly better than the first one. You don't need to see the first one to watch the second one. It's the same thing. One of those real classic videos. It just reminds me of Aiden because he sent it to me, and we just kept like referencing it over and over again for a good week. So, good times. Lasagna Cat sex survey results. So this is a 4-hour, 40-minute video of John Arbuckle opening his door and receiving answers for a survey. I don't want to say this on public access television, detailing numbers, and it's that for like 4 hours, 40 minutes. It's on loop. He does the same thing every time, but it's a different take. Lasagna Cat is this entire channel dedicated to recreating old Garfield comics and very bizarre surreal manner. And obviously this video does that, but only to some extent, because it's not really recreating one Garfield comic. It's more so taking the Garfield characters and giving a very strange, surreal twist. The last 10 minutes is this whole cinematic thing. I don't want to describe anything that happens, because even describing what happens might be pushing it for public access television. So seriously, only watch this channel at your own risk. Every single trigger warning, I think, should apply to this channel dedicated to recreating Garfield in very surreal, strange ways. It's a seriously well done project. It's a seriously well done video. I respect Lasagna Cat so much for, I don't know, everything, man. I like weird, surreal stuff. It's probably off-putting to some people, not to me. I love it. The Omega Mart employee training video. Again, this one's sort of cheating, because this is technically promotional material for a real-life, what would you call it, like an experience? Like you can visit the Omega Mart in Las Vegas. And I was in Las Vegas, and I begged and pleaded to please go to Omega Mart, and I sang the song on loop to my family. I was like, oh, 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 Omega Mart, you have no idea what's in store for you. And they did not listen. They did not want to go to some stupid Walmart knockoff, because that's what they thought it was. And I kept telling them, nope, it's not Walmart. This is like an experience. It's fun. And they were not having it. I did get the chance to go to a different Meow Wolf location in New Mexico, however, and I had a ton of fun there. But I'm still a little mad that I never got to go to Omega Mart, because the employee training video is so bizarre. It single-handedly got me into the whole like Meow Wolf thing, and I love going to the experiences whenever I can. But obviously, I don't live on the side of the country where I can just go out to San Antonio and do their Meow Wolf experience or anything. I have to just watch other people have fun. But it's very bizarre. Like one of those pieces of promotional material which definitely stands on its own as a good video, like with expiration date. Like you could see it as like a good short film. But it also does give me a positive opinion and a positive experience with the product. So well done on advertising, you guys. Okay, we're going to separate art from artist once again. We have JonTron. Don't get in a panic. I know JonTron, trust me. At the end of the day, though, he makes really good videos. No matter what your opinion is on him, you have to admit he has made some pretty good videos. Waterproofing My Life with Flex Tape, JonTron, is my personal pick for his channel. It is such a classic JonTron video, and I feel like everyone I know, everyone my age has seen this, even if they don't even know who like JonTron is or whatever. I feel like everyone at least knows like one or two of the lines, because I know it used to, like, a bunch of like memes on like freaking Reddit in like 2018 came from here, like, I'll take your entire stock, and then they'd what would you call it, like deep fry it or whatever. I can't remember. But people are to some extent familiar, and I think this was what got the whole like Flex Tape meme back in like 2017 or whatever. Like that's I think this video got it on the map. So to some extent, a lot of the culture of my generation has been shaped by this video. And it's a really solid video, 73 million views, and I think it's well-deserved. Brian David Gilbert. We technically already had a Brian David Gilbert pick on the list with the Polygon video, but this is his personal channel, which is why welcome to the neighborhood. by Brian David Gilbert qualifies. BDG, if I didn't say it before, one of my favorite creators of all time. I'm so proud of him for now being on Dropout and everything, and he's still making a ton of great stuff, some really cool stuff, and he's always experimenting. He's gotten a lot more musical these days, and a ton of his old videos, like Dance It's Moving is a great series. I love Twins Squared. If I could include that as well, I totally would. But I went with Welcome to the Neighborhood because there's so many details in this video you can pick apart. Like seriously, I've probably gone through it dozens of times, and I still need to pick apart more details. And it's a banger track too. It's a decent song, you know. He has some music writing chops. Hulopi, two pipes. Hulopi, two pipes. I don't know. They've done some other stuff before, but I like Two Pipes. It's a great 7-minute animation. Zach Hadel's in it, fun fact. So if you want to check it out for Zach Hadel, and I think Michael Cusack's in it too, or at least one or the other. It's either Mike, Zach, or both. But I know at least one of the Smiling Friends creators in it, so definitely check it out. Again, a lot of dark, gritty, visceral animation, but it's also hilarious. Some great twists and turns. This 7-minute animation feels so much longer, and again, I mean that in the best possible way because they fit so much into it. I don't think there's a second that could be lost in this animation that wouldn't still retain its glory. Like, I seriously think every single moment in this animation here just builds to create like the perfect 7-minute, 4-second story. Emp Lemon, again, these mildly controversial creators, maybe not as controversial as JonTron, but still, I think he makes wonderful videos. He makes a great documentary. My personal favorite of his is Mac Tonight, because Mac the Knife is one of my favorite songs, and it's telling the story of the song Mac the Knife, and I can essentially, what would you, like, recite the plot of this video. Like if you were to like summarize this video in like a paragraph, I could probably recite it word for word because it's such a fascinating story to me, to see where one of my favorite songs came from and what it's associated with today, which is unfortunately some not great stuff, as you see in the video, but it's still so fun. Like if Mac the Knife is ever brought up, I can be like, oh, you know, it started with the Beggar's Opera, and then it moved to the Threepenny Opera, and then Bobby Darin adapted it, and then the McDonald's commercial adapted it, and then someone sued someone, and then whatever. Australian Open 2015, Djokovic versus Abrams semifinal. Abrams, in this case, is a World War I tank. This is a 58-second animation, or edit rather, of a tank playing tennis against Djokovic. It's one of those YouTube videos I thought was so funny when I first found it that I showed my mom, and she actually found it pretty funny. So you know what? You won over my mom, Tim Fed. Congratulations, you made a funny animation. And again, I'm going to get judged for the hot diggity demon pick. I'm going to get judged for picking a little Max G. But you know what? I don't care. I think he makes good animations. I think he's funny overall. So I'm going to separate the art from the artist. I'm going to say individually, Max and Goofball in a Saturday Night Cartoon is a good enough pick to belong in the top 100 videos list. I love the animation. I think it's really funny. I don't know, man. He's one of those creators that's been around forever, and he's made a lot of stuff. So you've most certainly seen something by him. I went with this because I like Brain Dump a lot, but I realized like I actually do like it for the characters, and I do like it for their interactions, like not necessarily just the They're review pieces. And it works on its own as a 12-minute little cartoon there. So yeah, it's funny. It looks really good. The characters are really well written. And it's actually well voice acted. Max G is a good voice actor overall. So that's why I think it deserves a spot on the list. Picking a good Scott the Woz. Picking a good Scott the Woz rep was a little difficult. I went with Borderline Forever, and I was a little iffy on this pick because I think it is his best video. However, I wanted to make the list as accessible as possible for people who have never seen a video by any of the creators before. And I don't think Borderline Forever is the best place to start if you're just getting into Scott the Woz. I think it requires a lot of knowledge of his inside jokes and everything, and I think you kind of need to see, like, Dick Vitale's It's Awesome Baby College Hoops, his 100th video, before you see Borderline Forever. And of course you need to see A Very Madden 08 Christmas. But I love Borderline Forever. It opens with a musical number about how he loves stupid Nintendo games. Then there's like a grunge number, and then there's a whole other thing. There's like an original soundtrack and everything. There's like epic battles and everything. He's got like Brett Favre, and it's cool, man. It's cool. I love Scott the Woz. I really do. I know a lot of people aren't super into him, but I absolutely got into him. I know like a lot of people like in my generation who were like never like really got into him, and it's such a shame because I think the people who are into him are like really into him. He makes a lot of reviews about games. I haven't really played like a ton of games recently. But I think literally just when I was like super into video games, it wasn't necessarily because I was into the games themselves. I think I just really liked him and like everyone else who talked about them. And so I'd kind of almost like play the games to like keep up with like what he wanted to say and like in his videos and everything. So if you want to see a creator who's had some of the most impact on me, I think Scott the Woz definitely is up there. Turbulence, Saxy Awards 2015 Best Overall by Dunkel. This is what would you call it, an SFM, source filmmaker animation, which means it uses the Team Fortress 2 characters as the models. It's a 5-minute short animation. Sadly, it's not 100% complete. It's like 99% complete. But you really can't tell on like the first watch until like maybe like the last 30 seconds or so, because the rest of it is animated just beautifully. The comedy's on point. All the lines are delivered perfect. I don't know if they got like voice actors or they just use like the lines in game. I haven't played enough Team Fortress 2 to know, but as an animation, really solid, really funny. Pymation's Suction Cup Man. I don't know how people feel about Suction Cup Man. I think it's funny. And you know what? A video can be on my list just for being funny. I don't have a lot to say about Suction Cup Man. It's pretty self-explanatory. If you've seen it, you've probably gotten a hearty little laugh. You like the Suction Cup Man character. There's like a whole series now. I think there's like 4 or 5 of them out there. And I've seen all of them. And you know what? They're all pretty good. They're all pretty funny. But I went with the original because I wanted this to be a good starting place. Technoblade is a creator who is near and dear to my heart. I've been watching him since, I want to say, the 2nd grade. So that's, 10 years now, which is absolutely crazy to think about. And it's devastating that he's gone, because he seemed like such a great person, and obviously he was a wonderful creator. I went with Skyblock: The Great Potato War. it is, I think, I wouldn't, maybe not like magnum opus, but you could call it a magnum opus if you include the entire trilogy and everything. You remember how I said like Minecraft is now like a vessel for storytelling? I think this is the best possible example of using Minecraft videos like as a medium for storytelling, because he really does tell a story in like the best possible way. He was seriously such a creative and just funny, talented man, and it seriously breaks my heart knowing that he's gone, because I watched him for years and years, man. I understand that maybe some of you watching might be watching this years in the future, and so you may be a little younger, and you may not even know who Technoblade is. And that is scary to think about, because he was such a powerful force in the like the Minecraft community, I'd say. You know, like I've been watching him since like the Bed Wars streak, and even when he was making like Sky Wars and stuff. And now like a bunch of people like know him from like the Dream SMP and stuff like that. And I never really got into that, but I still love all of his like Skyblock videos. And just like as an entertainer, like his personality is strong enough, is unique enough, is funny enough that I can watch like almost anything with him and I'd still enjoy it. Like if I was watching the Dream SMP, which was like on occasion, then it would be from his perspective. Seriously, like if you guys don't know who Technoblade is, and you like the sound of Minecraft videos being used as a vessel for storytelling, definitely check this guy out. He was even paid tribute into the Minecraft movie, and it was well-deserved tribute. Jay Foreman, The Mystery of the Squares Country. Map Men is a series which I had never really noticed that I was watching, if that makes sense. Like, I would just like see it on my recommended, I'd click it, I'd watch it, I'd be like, that was a great video. And then maybe I'd like click on like one or two more, but I think I'd like just go about like the rest of my usually like keeping up with YouTube cycle, just like watching like all the new stuff. And it wasn't like until about a year ago where I realized, oh, this is like an actual series, and like I binged all the videos and I absolutely loved it. Jay Foreman, and then his friend, I'm so sorry, I forgot the name of his friend. They make a wonderful series about maps, and I love maps. So they basically made the perfect series for me, because it's a little sketch comedy sort of fun, like cutaways and everything sort of series, all about weird maps, or in this case it is the mystery of what the squarest country in the world is, and they make a whole, it's like 5-minute song where they just list all the countries, and they're like, is this the squarest? Nah. So that is my personal pick for them, but honestly, any of the Map Men could do. I just like this one because it has a fun little song in it. Mish Cause, the Super Mario 64 Iceberg Explained. This is the video that started all of the iceberg video trends, which were making waves on YouTube maybe 4 or 5 years ago, which is crazy. It's only 4 years ago, it says. Yeah, 4 years. Because I feel like the iceberg format's been around for much longer. This guy literally set a precedent for an entire genre of videos on YouTube. And I think we're going to see some more iceberg videos later on the list. But it set the precedent for iceberg videos going forward for a reason, because it's a good video. It's a little eerie. It's a little informative even. You don't even need to be super into Super Mario 64. Like I was into Mario when I watched this, not necessarily 64 specifically. But he does a very good job at like introducing all the components one by one. And like I remember like after this, like the Minecraft iceberg came out, and like there was like more and more about like video games, and like moved to like TV shows and movies, and like now Wendigoon made the conspiracy theory iceberg. It's a very, I'm very proud of Mish Cause for setting a whole precedent for a genre on YouTube, and making a solid video in of itself. Ben Palmer, you can be anything. This is technically a stand-up bit, but given how much he records for YouTube specifically anyways, I have a feeling that he just wanted to put this on YouTube, but he happened to be performing it live, so he just took the footage of him performing it live and then put it on YouTube. So technically, I'll still allow it by the rules. 34 of the funniest stand-up minutes I've ever seen. The main chunk of the video is when he makes a U.S. representative. No, he becomes like the right-hand man to like a senator or something. And he like tricks them into getting behind like a bunch of these like weird policies and everything. It's really funny. I love this sort of like absurdist storytelling where it's like, how can you amp up the story like even further, but like with like real life scenarios, you know? And I think this is the future of YouTube storytelling. I've made like a sort of genre title. I call it just absurdist, where you're essentially crafting the story in real time, because YouTube is more often than not nonfiction. And Ben Palmer is crafting his story of becoming the right-hand man to the senator in real time. And I think it's a good representation of this kind of storytelling. Rasputin, what games are like for someone who doesn't play games? Gaming for a non-gamer, as the thumbnail describes. Yeah, I haven't seen this one in a good while, but I remember it being really good, and my friend was like, you should put this on the list, and so I said, okay. But I did watch this. I wouldn't put a video on the list unless I had seen it. So I can't quite remember all the details, but I do remember coming out of it and thinking that was a really good video, and that was a really interesting video. I remember, I think it's a guy, and he asks like his wife to play a bunch of like video games, even though she had never really gotten into video games before, and it's really interesting to see like, oh, like she doesn't necessarily connect the idea of like moving the mouse to like looking up, down, left, and right. And that, like, I even like relate to that to some extent because I don't have any like older siblings or anything, so I never had anyone like really teach me how to play games like on a computer. Like I had to figure all that stuff out for myself for like the longest time until I moved to a neighborhood where I had like a lot of friends who were older than me who could teach me these things. And so like I remember, this is like so far removed from talking about the video, but I remember I downloaded Minecraft on my like Nana's laptop when I was over at her house, and I was like 6 or 7 years old or something, right? And I didn't know how to control it. I remember I had like the world in front of me. I had my character there, and I didn't know even how to move or like look around. And so I just like sat there pressing little arrow keys, thinking like that would do something, just for probably half an hour, because like my Nana paid the good $27 to get me Minecraft. And I remember just like literally like having to leave and be like, I don't know what to do. I guess this is what Minecraft is. You just don't move or anything. And this guy essentially just puts his wife through that. It's like, here's a video game, go play it without any instructions. And so I remember relating a lot to that. I remember every time I think about that, I think about that video. Summoning Salt, wonderful little documentary creator, mostly about video games and like speed running and everything. Before Dream made speedrunning like super mainstream, I think this guy, of anyone, brought it into more of a light than it had been before. At least to me. This is how I learned about speedrunning. And Mario Kart Wii, The History of the Ultra Shortcut, is my personal favorite video of his, because it was the first video I saw of him. But it's so interesting to see like the different ways people do the Ultra Shortcuts. He's got the iconic Summoning Salt soundtrack as well. This is easily like the most accessible Summoning Salt video you can show someone. Like I now love his format so much, like I could click on any one of his videos no matter if I've played the game or whatever. But if you want to get someone into Summoning Salt, or if you want to get into Summoning Salt, if you like the idea of speedrunning documentaries, I think Mario Kart Wii, The History of the Ultra Shortcut's the best place to start, because everyone knows Mario Kart Wii, and it's really cool to watch footage of people skipping over half of Rainbow Road or Mushroom Gorge. Mike Salcato's Alphabet Lore, A to Z. A whopping 177 million views is crazy to me. But then I realized, this has probably got a very big audience of children, which is really interesting, because I never really thought of it like that. But no, you can watch this completely, like, it doesn't have any like swears or anything, so it's like, yeah, kids, this could be on YouTube Kids feasibly, but it's entertaining regardless of your age. Like, I watched this on the original Twitter thread that Mike drew this on, because the first like A, B, and C, you've probably seen Alphabet Lore, 177 million views. I'd be very surprised if you hadn't. Because the first like A, B, and C were like daily little like practice animations. Then he was like, would it be funny if I like started like amping them up more and more? And then that ended up just becoming his priority when animating. So I went with this because very good animation, pretty silly, and it's just really funny to think that it started out like so quaint, and he just was like, how big can we get this? And it reminds me of the children's show Alpha Blocks, which was on CBeebies, which is the British children's broadcasting. It's like the BBC for like little kids. And I used to go over to my grandparents' house and watch it in England. So it reminds me of good times. History of the Entire World, I guess, by Bill Wirtz, 176 million views, which is really weird to think that it's just a million less than Alphabet Lore, because Alphabet Lore is so new, and to me, I know History of the World, I guess, is only 8 years old, but it feels like it's been around forever. It feels like such a YouTube staple. And when I was doing research for this video, for literally this, I was like, oh, like what would people consider the best YouTube video of all time? This was the most common result. History of the Entire World, I guess. And that makes sense. Bill Wirtz literally took out like an entire year of his time just to make this video. History of the Entire World, I guess. And obviously people know it for the stupid Reddit memes, but it's funny. It's got a lot of great quotes. It's got a lot of great little animations and stick figures and fun little drawings and everything. And it's not a half bad summary of the history of our globe. Like, yeah, you can only talk about so much in, what is this, 19 minutes? But as a 19-minute satirical summary of our planet, then it's not horrible. Like, I know there's someone out there who made like an edited version for schools where it like cuts out all the swearing. And I don't know how many history teachers actually showed their kids, but I guarantee you there's at least one little like Redditor history teacher out there who's like, kids, we're going to watch the history of the world. Take notes. I guarantee you someone's shown this to their kids in school. Melody Sheep, Time Lapse to the Future, A Journey to the End of Time, 4K. Yeah, this is a 30-minute time lapse till the heat death of the universe. Very well done, very well directed.
I don't know how much of this is like animation, because I remember distinctly that they use like footage from like movies in the beginning, but as like a prediction using like actual like scientific metrics and statistics and whatnot of like what will happen at the end of our universe. It's very good and very well made. It's a wonderful visualization, like the way that they amp up time as well. It's like time doubles every 5 seconds or something. So it starts with like 1 year every second, and then after 5 seconds, it's like 2 years every second, so on and so forth. I also was using this as research for that big thing I was writing for, which I had to pause writing for to make this video. Ramtro Studios, the full 9/11 iceberg chart explained. This is a 3-hour, 5-minute video explaining the 9/11 iceberg. I guess this is where the Super Mario 64 iceberg has led us. And this is also the 3rd or 4th 9/11 related video we have. It's the 3rd. So we have one coming up. I don't know why there's so many relating to this topic that happen to make it into the list. I swear this isn't something I'm like seeking out. I think people just happen to make really earnest and well done videos because they don't want to, you know, mishandle this subject. Yeah, it's a really detailed, really interesting iceberg chart. If this is something that interests you for whatever reason, then check it out. I just found myself very consistently interested in the subject matter. The government, don't sue me. I just think this person put in a lot of research and made a really well done iceberg chart. Let me know. They made a lot of great videos. But I went with Cicada 3301, an internet mystery, because that was, again, the first one of their videos that I saw. And it's a good little mystery, and they do a great job visualizing all like the ways they solved the Cicada 3301 puzzle. If you don't know what that is, check the video out. But it was the first real, what would you call it, ARG? Yeah, ARG. Yeah, it was the first real like alternate reality game on the internet, and if I'm being entirely honest, I think the internet got way into ARGs like back in 2020, and everyone was making one. It was like, a little too much. But I think this first one is really good because there is a genuine mystery behind it. Because we actually don't know who made it. And a lot of the other ones, like the other new ones, like as well designed as they are, they don't have as much mystery behind them. So like Mr. Beast's ARG, it's like, yeah, he designed one. It's like, cool, there's cash at the end, but it's also like, where's the fun little mystery, you know? And I think Lemino does a great job at presenting this as like the most mysterious possible way it could be. Anyways, Geography Now, United States of America by Geography Now. Geography Now is possibly one of the first creators I really got into. For the longest time, I actually wasn't allowed to watch YouTube because my parents were like, Dylan, it's bad for you. Because I was watching Sky Does Minecraft on my little iPad one day when I was like 7, and he swore, and then my parents were like, none for you. And so I could only watch like a select few creators that my parents specifically allowed me to. Until eventually I was brave and I started branching out. Geography Now was one of the first channels that I really discovered after branching out. And I think his United States of America video, it's an hour long, is one of the most ambitious and comprehensive projects he's ever had to take on, and he handles it wonderfully. I have so much respect for Paul Barbato, the creator of Geography Now. I would just love to make a show like his one day where I can just, you know, teach things about geography in like a fun, silly, goofy manner. Seriously, he's a creator that means so much to me. And I think this is probably his best work, given just how comprehensive it is. And it's about my country, so I will be a little self-indulgent, and I think picking any other country that isn't just my own would seem like I'm picking favorites. It'd be like if I was like, yeah, geography now, Denmark's my favorite. It's like, why the Denmark one? Let's see, two clicks, Philip. The Grand Unified Toilet Theory. This is an animation comedy piece. I don't know. If you really like some silly, some absurdist, some, I'd almost call it like Nathan Fielder-esque comedy, then I think the Grand Unified Toilet Theory is one for you. I don't want to spoil it because I think just describing it would remove all of the comedy. But it's a very good pitch for how to make public bathrooms just a little bit better. Okay. I don't want to have to explain object shows, but I'm going to have to explain object shows because there's one object show on this list, and it's one. The video is 1-1, as in one, episode 1, Free Fall by Cheesy HFJ. If object shows, you either know what they are or you don't. Basically, back in 2010, these two 12-year-olds, Carrie and Michael Huang, made a cartoon on the internet called Battle for Dream Island. It was the first episode in a 25-episode season of Battle for Dream Island, where it was essentially like the show Total Drama Island, but instead of having human characters, it was object characters. So they have a Bubble character, and her name is Bubble, and they have a Fire character, and his name is Fiery, and so on. And it's a genuinely really interesting internet phenomenon where like a bunch of like animators or like creators or whoever who got into this would essentially create their own version of that show. So there are thousands of these Battle for Dream Island-like shows, or object shows, because they use the object characters, where it's essentially the same format with some variation depending on the show. Same types of characters, and similar enough animation styles, but to the interpretation of the creator that made it. There's obviously more nuance than that. I used to be really into these because I was fascinated with the idea of how one could interpret one show in a bunch of different ways. You know, it's not necessarily like watching any one show will be the experience that like really brings you in. It's more so the idea that this community can reinterpret and reimagine the same idea over and over again. And it's really good insight into the creators' minds when you can pick apart like, oh, this is what this creator decided to do differently, or like these are the objects that this creator decided to go with. Maybe they hold some importance in this creator's life. 1, you can't really watch this show unless you've seen at least 1 or 2 other object shows or have a really good understanding of the object show premise. However, this one does stand just enough on its own where I think you can understand it if you do have a good grasp of what object shows look like. Definitely watch like the first couple episodes of Battle for Dream Island before you watch this. Maybe a little Inanimate Insanity, a little open source objects. I know my stuff. But one, and I don't want to exaggerate because some people may look at me and be like, the object show? But no, seriously. 1 is a beautiful series. It is a 2-season series. It's incredibly well written, incredibly well planned out. Some wonderful animation, especially towards the end there. Some beautiful colors too. A pretty good soundtrack too. and one of the most underrated series on the internet. And I think the only real limiting factor it has is the fact that it's an object show, and not a ton of people really know what that is. But you don't even necessarily need to be an object show fan to like this. I seriously don't believe that. Again, it's really, really, really well done. I have all my respect to Cheesy HFJ and to Jack and Jellify for creating the first object show, Battle for Dream Island. I will say I think the first episode is a little too inaccessible for me to put on here. I think you do kind of have to be prepared to see the first episode of Battle for Dream Island in a way, because it was made by 12-year-olds, and it's really impressive for 12-year-olds. And BFB is great, like I know, like, and Teapot and everything. And I actually do think they hold up really well now, but I wouldn't necessarily think that the first episode of Battle for Dream Island stands out enough on its own to warrant being put on this list. But I think 1-1, even when you're not like super into the series and or like the actual like lore and like the plot and everything, I think even on its own it stands out. Canadian the Cat, TED Ed videos be like. This is a parody of TED Ed videos that goes off the walls. That's all you need to know. It's very funny. When You Win in Uno by Legendary J. One of the best edits I've seen on this platform, period. I mean, this guy is seriously talented at editing. I think this is the most viewed video on the entire list at 208 million views. I think a lot of it's boosted because it's a short. However, of all the shorts on this platform, easily the best one I've seen. I think this is the only short on the list. Just phenomenal editing. I mean, I wouldn't even know where to begin on this. Like, a lot of the time when I'm looking at a YouTube video, I can pick apart. I can be like, this is seriously some talented stuff. However, I can see like which techniques they used, and like maybe if I invested some time in like this or like learning this, like then I could see what to do. With this, I wouldn't know where to start. Seriously, like I just wouldn't know where to begin if I wanted to recreate that. So props to them. Salmonella Academy, Timothy Dexter, the dumbest rags to riches story. Timothy Dexter is a Massachusetts local. He's from Malden, which I actually lived in Malden for 6 years. So there's a chance I have walked the same streets as Timothy Dexter. Salmonella, if you don't know who he is the first of, I wouldn't even say he's the first, because there's probably more that came before him, but he is one of many of these stick figure type guys who, he's a stick figure and he explains weird bits of history. But I think he is one of the best to do it. And I think he's one of the funniest to do it as well. And I think he chooses really good stories to cover. I think Timothy Dexter was the absolute perfect story he could have covered on his channel. Definitely a great way to get into Salmonella Academy. And hey, if you're a Massachusetts local like I am, you may spot a couple familiar faces. Giuseppe, the Gamer Movie, is a strange mess. This is probably the most, I'm picking this because it is really close to my heart, pick on this list. It's a wonderful video on its own. And I'd probably, honest to God, I'd probably still include it on this list if I had just seen it on its own. But the fact of the matter is, there was a good 2-year, and like really take in how long 2 years is, 2-year period where every time my friends were over at my house, we would have to watch this. It wasn't even like a matter of like, should we watch it? We had to. We just had to watch this review of the Gamer Movie. And so it eventually got to the point where we were saying like, oh, can we watch the Gamer Movie? We weren't talking about the actual movie. We were talking about the 30-minute review of the movie, which is incredibly well edited. It's really funny. They use so many weird, obscure clips. I don't know where he gets these from, but I could and I have quote this entire review word for word, because I've seen, relative to how long the video is, I think I've seen this video the most, if that makes sense. Because obviously I can rewatch like a 1 or 2 minute video like over and over, and I usually will. But a 30-minute video, this one I would watch at least once or twice a month, or like whenever my friends were hanging out. I think there's one month where we probably watched it like 8 times. But we love this video because we can quote it word for word. And it's just more fun to quote it word for word like as a group than it is to actually even like watch the video at this point. So Giuseppe, thank you so much, seriously. I freaking love this video. Alan Becker, animator versus animation original. It's really bizarre to see how much of the animation versus animator series there is now, because he's now made like a bunch of shorts and there's like a million like episodes and they're all like really well done. He's such a good animator. But I went with the original animation versus animator because it's the cute little stick figure fights the mouse. And how can you not love that? It's so cute. I love YouTube. I love this platform. I love this freaking site. Pets Cop by Pets Cop. If you don't know what Pets Cop is, I don't know what Pets Cop is either. I still don't like understand. Is it real? I know it's not, but it looks real. It looks like a real game. It's basically like found footage of this game. I actually don't know. I haven't like gotten super duper into it. I only just included the first Pets Cop video here because that's all I've really seen. Because there is like a ton of it for being like a fake game. Like I don't know if it's like an animation or if like someone like made like a demo game or whatever. But yeah, it's would you call it even like horror? I don't know. But it's real footage of a fake game, I guess is what you'd call it. So if you want to see someone recreate like an old like PlayStation era game, then this is a video for you. Defunct Land. They've made a lot of great videos, but I personally went with Disney Channel's theme, A History Mystery. This is like the parallel to the Roblox Oof video I talked back up in like spot number 5 or something. Yeah, it's a very heartwarming mystery because like the Roblox Oof video, it's about finding out who made a specific sound effect. And this one's an hour and a half. The Roblox Oof one was 2 hours, so it's a very similar length. But they end in very different ways, whereas the Roblox Oof video ends with me being like, I want to kill Tommy Tallarico. This ends with, I want to just hug the person who made the Disney Channel theme. And I don't want to spoil who it is, because I think it's a wonderful mystery. But there's so many great little reveals and so many nice little twists and turns. But it's all positive. It's all a positive mystery. So props to Defunct Land for making another wonderful video on top of your dozens of other really good videos. GeoWizard. This is a creator who makes a lot of GeoGuessr videos, but also a lot of real-life exploration videos. But my personal favorite was the Two Brits Traveled Boston to Miami by Any Means Necessary. I chose the first episode because in this one, they set out with the goal of going from Boston to New York via boat. So they try to take a boat across Long Island. It's a great way to open a series. The rest of the series is awesome. If you're really into travel and everything, this is like one of the coolest travel series I've ever seen on this platform because there's so many wonderful moments in it. The one thing I don't like about it, they don't spend a ton of time in Boston, and they didn't really like their experience there because they couldn't get a ride down to Providence or anything. And so, GeoWizard, if by some miracle you're watching this, I challenge you, go back to Boston, have a good time. There's so much to do in our beautiful city. Massachusetts is a wonderful state. I don't want you leaving with the negative experience of no one was friendly to you there, because there's tons of friendly people in Boston, Massachusetts. I can assure you that. Hugbees, fun facts about the U.S. President's educational cartoon. Hugbees has made a ton of great videos, and don't be fooled by the fun facts about the U.S. President's educational cartoon. It goes off the rails quick. It starts out as a regular fun facts about the U.S. presidents, and then again goes off the rails. I could probably quote each of the president's little fun facts, and I think this actually was the video that kind of got me into the U.S. presidents and everything, because he actually made a video beforehand where he made fun of like a very similar video that was actually made by like a little kid, talking about like U.S. president's fun facts, and he just spent the entire video making fun of like a 9-year-old child's school project. And that's not this video. This is the follow-up where there's like an animator who animates all like the little fun facts about the presidents, and it makes it very funny. And it only gets funnier the more you know about the actual U.S. presidents. So very well done video. We have reached the 4th and final video about 9/11 on our list. Video games about 9/11 by Paper Will. Again, I don't know what it is that makes so many 9/11 makes, what is it? 1 out of 25 videos on this list have 9/11 in the title and thumbnail. But I don't know. I guess a lot of these videos are very tastefully done, and a documentary about video games about 9/11 was really well done. It's a fascinating topic. Again, government, don't sue me. But clearly this person was interested enough in the topic, and I found myself interested for the 18 minutes and 32 seconds that they were talking about this. And hell, I even was thinking about this documentary after I watched it. It left an impression on me, which is what a good documentary does. So congratulations, Paper Will. You've made it onto the list. You made a very good documentary. The Cookie Clicker Experience by Dragoon. I don't like how we have to follow up a video about 9/11 with the Cookie Clicker Experience. But Dragoon makes a very, very well done escalating video about Cookie Clicker, a game which I've sunk some hours into, and it sums up the Cookie Clicker Experience really well. Captain Disillusion, the Debunkathon. Captain Disillusion, again, one of those creators you could throw in a lot of their videos. And actually, one of the creators which I showed my dad that one time where I forced him to watch YouTube. I went with the Debunkathon because I asked my friend Giles, who loves Captain Disillusion. I was like, I'll let you have the pick as to which Captain D video you want to do. And he was like, throw in the Debunkathon. Yeah, Captain Disillusion. I have so much respect for that guy. Wonderful creator. Wonderful VFX artist. Yeah. Solar Sands. Can you name one object in this photo? This is a video about AI generated art before all like the DALL-E stuff came out. So this was back in like 2019 or 2020 or so. And I remember like my mind was absolutely blown seeing AI generated art the first time. And obviously now I hate it because it's just a bunch of crypto bros who are like, what if we replace real artists while simultaneously ruining our planet? But before, when it was like a cute little, like you literally couldn't recognize any single object in the photo, I thought, hey, this is interesting. I didn't necessarily support it. I just thought it was interesting. And I believe this is the video which also ends up talking about The Caretaker, which is the 6-hour project. It's like a collection of like 6 different albums. You'll recognize the first track, and I can't remember what it's called. It's like Everything at the End of Time or something. It goes like you'll recognize it. And they do like a wonderful job talking about like dementia and how that relates to art and music. And yeah, I think they cover so many interesting topics, Solar Sands, in this one little video here. And this is a video I actually ended up showing my mom back in 2020. And then she was like, "That's very cool, Dylan, but also, respectfully, I don't care." I chose SFM We Like to Party because, it's by Anonymous, because I liked this video a lot when I was 9 years old. I thought it was hilarious, and I showed it to all my friends, and it makes me smile still today. So you know what? SFM We Like to Party, you get a spot on the list. It's the Thomas the Tank Engine animation. I asked my friend Dan, I asked, what do you think deserves to be on a top 100 video list? And his answer was Seagulls Stop It Now, a bad lip reading of The Empire Strikes Back. By bad lip reading. I threw it on there because of him, but also because this is a video I also really liked when I was a youngin'. 154 million views. You could call it a YouTube classic at this point. How could you not? Yeah, it's so endearing. I think it's only 8 years old, which is crazy to me, because it feels like indicative of calmer, nicer time on this platform, where the funniest thing you could think of was, how do you poorly lip read Star Wars? And you know what? It's still charming. It's still endearing. I Did a Thing. Again, another great example of this new format of YouTube narrative storytelling where you do a thing, and that is the video, but it gets progressively more absurd, and it's sort of like a Nathan Fielder, sort of like, how can we amp up the stakes every single time. In this How Many Pressure Washers Does It Take to Fly video, where he asks the appropriate question, how many pressure washers does it take to fly? And the answer can only be found in this video, so go check it out. We have two more, two very dichotomous videos. The first one, Nubasaurus, a tour of my minecart rail network. This is a 41-minute video. It's not particularly edited or scripted or super planned out or whatever. It's literally just a guy talking about his minecart rail network in his Minecraft world. But he is so endearing, so charming, so earnest talking about his minecart rail network. I can't help but absolutely love it. I mean, he does such a great job just talking about his little world, and I got really invested. I don't know what it is. I like watching tours of people's Minecraft worlds. It's a weird thing I like to see sometimes. And like the same way I really liked that RT game video where it's just talking about Minecraft just like as a game rather than being like this all, like this big, like powerful thing for making like the biggest videos. Like, no, this guy he just enjoys the game, and that in itself is really endearing. It's really nice to see. It's a really relaxed video. So if you liked that RT game, like the Minecraft, that RT game Minecraft video from like earlier in the list, I think you'd like this. And our last video, to cap things all off, place your bets in the comments. It is Vsauce, What Will We Miss? Similar to the time-lapse of the future, essentially takes us into the far future, but it takes a different approach. Vsauce is obviously a creator you're probably familiar with, and if you're not, he's one of the biggest scientific creators on the platform, and I think it's a good way to end things off because it's talking about the future. And it's a very beautiful video. I remember I wasn't in a great place back in March, I'd say. And I remember I watched a bunch of these Vsauce videos, and I remember this one very distinctly as one of my go-tos. And Vsauce is just such an endearing creator. I absolutely love him. I have so much respect for all of the Vsauce guys, actually. But of course, Michael is the classic Vsauce guy. And I think this is the best video they've made, at least of the ones I've seen. Vsauce has a ton of videos out there, so I wouldn't be surprised if there's a better one that I've missed, and I wouldn't be surprised if there's a ton of other better videos that I didn't have the chance to talk about, or maybe there's entire creators which I've never even heard of before, which is why it's your job to recommend some of your top videos, or hell, even create an entire top 100 list in the comments below. But I'd recommend making a playlist and then maybe sharing it with me. Yeah, I'm not going to include any honorable mentions or anything because, well, frankly, then there's going to be way too many. I think the arbitrary top 100 is where we're going to have to leave things. So thank you for watching. If you're a creator on this list, I have so much respect for you. And I just want to thank you for bringing me so much entertainment, so much joy, so much inspiration too. Yeah, I don't know if you can tell. I like this site a lot. YouTube's given me a lot. And I just wanted to recognize the videos and the creators who I wish I could just thank personally. So this is the best way I know how. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. If you've watched to the end, maybe you just skipped to the end thinking that number 100 would be number 1 or something, like we're counting up or counting down. No, these weren't in order. I just threw them in a playlist. But yeah, that's. Send me more videos. Bye.